All right. Three, two, one. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 208 of the KBMOD podcast. It is October 4th, 2015, and we've got the normal crew. It's good to have everybody for two consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
I think we've had the crew. How's everybody doing? We good?
Yeah, good.
How's that tea,
Well.
Brandon? Brandon's drinking some tea right now.
It's delightful.
What
It's
did
really
you make?
It's just like some nice PG Tips tea. I use 2 tea bags.
Oh,
So I'm
really
a
nice and
real
strong.
rebel.
Good. Nice.
Do you sugar and milk in your tea or what?
Yeah, I do some milk and like a bit of sugar. That's like generally English folks put quite a bit of milk and sugar in their tea.
Yes.
And I've actually cut back quite a bit from the way I used to drink it. So now
I don't drink tea with milk, and I was told by an English person once that like that's so fucked up and like an American bastardization of tea drinking. I was like, dude, I mean, we dumped your tea in fucking Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
I
no.
don't give a fuck about
Not
your
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl
We dumped your tea at Pearl
At the
Harbor.
Boston.
Never forget
This is
the
the history
attack
hour
on the
with
tea
Scott
at
Fisher.
Pearl
At
Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, God, I'm mixing.
I've had
Anyway.
tea with milk in it. It's not very good. Sorry, British viewer listeners.
But I know that, yeah, I'm
It
pretty
depends
sure.
on the type of tea you're having.
Yeah.
Like if you're having, an English type of tea, like English breakfast or Earl Grey or something
Sure.
like that, like you should drink it the English way unless you really don't like that.
Yeah.
Look at that Earl Grey.
On
Right.
that Earl Grey tip.
But all right, well that's good. I just wanted to check. Also, I misread your Skype thing earlier as that you were making juice too, and I was really going to get excited because I was going to kick it off with asking you what kind of juice you were making, but it was actually you saying to juice the retweet. So I totally
Yes.
I missed that. But how's let's do our normal thing. Let's see if there's anything that happened, during the week that was exciting that anybody wants to share. It's popcorn, so just say popcorn and then you can go and share.
Do you have to say
Life
popcorn
Express.
first?
You do have to say popcorn. I'm
Popcorn.
instituting that.
Yeah, popcorn.
Popcorn.
Oh, Hex said it first.
Yep,
Go ahead,
all right.
Hex.
Popcorn.
Whoa. Do you really want to go that bad, Nick? Because I'll let you go first. It's cool.
Popcorn.
Yep. Nick just ate a bunch of popcorn this week. Is apparently
Popcorn.
Oh, speaking of I think I've talked about this before, but the
Popcorn.
Orville
Popcorn.
Redenbacher. God
Popcorn.
damn it.
Popcorn.
What did I
Popcorn.
start? Okay, actually, you don't have to say popcorn. Hex, I'm just going to pick you.
Yeah. Okay. I went to the symphony today. I went
Sorry,
to,
just my pinky just inadvertently flew out from my
popped
hand and I'm
out,
holding
like, out
it
of nowhere.
in the air. Hoity-toity.
Hex is too quiet. I'm seeing apparently. So let's bump my mic a little bit.
That's a good thing to say out loud. Thanks for narrating your mic
I'm
adjustments.
narrating my own shortcomings is what I'm doing right now. So we'll bump the mic a little bit. Yeah, I went to the symphony today. I went to see. We bought season tickets for the symphony this year for the first time. I think that's the first official sign of me being an adult is that I bought something that hoity-toity. But it was the Frank Sinatra symphony. So they had a guy come out that had a really good voice and did a bunch of like Sinatra numbers and then some of his own originals, and they did some other like movie stuff with a full Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. It was actually really great. It was a lot of fun to go and see someone that can sing like that sing in real life. So that was my cool thing I did this week. Cool if you're a fucking music nerd like me.
Man, I really feel like
It was really cool, you guys. I went to
as
see a
we
man
age,
sing.
like, our cool thing, because I won't go next, but I was gonna talk about some carpet steam cleaning that happened this week for me.
Oh man,
So
I steam cleaned
really
the
feel like-
fuck out of a carpet tonight, man. I
Gotta
steam
save
cleaned
that for
so
the
many
end.
carpets.
Yeah, that's like the best thing that I think anybody did this week. But Brandon, did you have anything this week that you wanted to share? I'm not going to
not
ask you because I feel
really,
like the flea market question's forcing it every week. So
Yeah, no, I have not been to a flea market yet. I mean, trust me, at this point, if I attend a flea market again, it'll be headline news on this cast.
man.
No, all I've really been doing is just like binge watching TV shows and stuff, playing
What are you
some
watching?
games.
Yeah, what are you watching?
I'm going through Sons of Anarchy. I actually just discovered there's a 7th season. I thought I was almost done, and there's a whole other season that I have. So
As someone who stopped at season 4, where are you at right now?
I just finished season 5 today.
Was season
So
5 good? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I mean, every season I think's been pretty good.
The
And at
first
this
4 I
point-
really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. Like the thing is too, even if it gets bad at a certain point, like when I'm 5 seasons in out of a 7-season series, I'm just gonna finish it. You have
Right.
to.
So I have to ask, did you watch the Emmys?
No.
Okay, well, they spoiled the shit out of the ending of Sons
I
of
heard
Anarchy. And
I
I'm
heard,
just
a
like, well,
lot of
fuck, I
different-
don't need to watch
I heard
this
they-
now.
Yeah, I heard they spoiled like a bunch of stuff at the Emmys. Just like one more reason why I would never watch the Emmys.
Yes,
I
I love
watched them,
tuning
and
in
they
the
literally
fucking
spoiled the last
Emmys.
season, and I was so pissed off because I was like, well, I was gonna go back and watch those last 3 seasons of Sons of Anarchy, but now I know what happens at the end, so I don't know that I want to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of twists and turns, and I feel like it's sort of the Game of Thrones model where like people die off unexpectedly,
Sure.
and you kind of have to get attached to new characters and stuff. So I feel like that keeps the show pretty dynamic, and I just enjoy now going through shows that are already done, so that I can basically just watch it on my own schedule and marathon it when I have the time.
Yeah,
Don't you love when Charlie comes in and he talks to D and like they have like it's like super funny.
I love when Charlie comes in, yeah.
Yeah, and there's
he
Dennis
says,
and
"Girl, I
Mac.
didn't know you could get down like that."
There's Dennis and Mac, and then Danny DeVito's there, and it's always Sons of Anarchy.
in Philadelphia.
And it's always the Sons of Anarchy in
It took
Philadelphia.
me that long to figure out this was a fucking Always Sunny reference. I was like, what the? How does Nick know about this show? God damn it.
They also spoiled I haven't seen the last season of True Blood, and they spoiled the very last episode of that, and I was like, well, I really didn't plan on watching the end of that series anyway, but at least I know how it ends now. It was fucking shitty.
I
It was
feel like
so
I'm
bad.
the only person that like got to season like 2 or 3 of Game of Thrones and was like, yeah, I'm not into it anymore. Like I
Really?
stopped watching.
I think
Yeah,
the
haven't
first
watched
like
since
the
then.
first couple, maybe first 3 seasons were really strong. I think
Yeah.
like the first 2 seasons were really strong, and the rest of them are good. But it's like I think it's really hard to beat the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe that's that's
it's
kinda
still
what
good.
happened.
Like, it's still a decent show, but it's not quite what it was at the beginning.
It's number 2 all time on the IMDb as far as ratings go. So
Anybody else?
There's
Anybody else
something.
have stuff they had doing this week that they want to talk about? No.
no, okay.
All right.
Other than I did tweet this, but I did get a steam cleaner for the carpets, and really we went to work on some stains that really been irking me. And if you've never steam cleaned a carpet before, honestly, it is. We talked about
Wait,
it a little
did you
bit.
steam
Hex.
clean or did you
I
hire
did.
someone?
No. So I actually bought one off. Just bought a Bissell that I wanted for a while. That was on my wish list.
You've been eyeing that.
I,
been
did
eyeing
you
that-
fucking say the statement that I wanted for a while?
Well, I talked
listen.
to my sister. Anyway, it's a whole long story. But yeah, I found.
I've
the
really
Bissell
been
that was-
eyeing the steam
No,
cleaner.
I'm backing Scott up on this one. I've had a deep cleaning rug scrubber on my Amazon
I
wish
don't
list
wanna hear
for
about your
more
colon.
than a year. It gets in there. It gets into the fibers. It brings out filth you never even knew
It really
you
does,
had.
and it's like visually therapeutic because. And Brandon, if anyone, I don't know if you have carpets. Yeah, you have carpets. I can see in your shop. Not that I mean, do you have any animals though? You probably.
No.
Okay,
but
so
I
you
know
know
he keeps
the-
a cougar
I
alive in
know
his
that
house at all
feeling,
times.
though.
But yeah, you know that feeling. So it's visual in the sense that, right, like you put in the hot water, and then when you actually use it, you can see the dirt getting churned up into the tank, and then when the water's gone, you change it.
Disgustingness.
Literally,
it's-
nothing is more disgusting than emptying that tank going, I walk
Oh.
around on this shit every day. Fuck,
I know,
this is
when you
hideous.
realize. So anyway,
You
I
haven't
just
lived in that
story
apartment
sucks.
very long.
No,
He has
no, it
4
wasn't-
cats, though, bro.
And for the most part, it was just certain spots like that I wanted to get out. But
Yeah,
once
the
I did
corner
one
where
spot,
you piss and
where I piss and poop, exactly. It was mostly maintenance for me. But like once we like did one area, we were like, we're gonna do the whole fucking thing.
Of
And
course.
then it was so good.
Yeah, once you start, you can't stop. I mean,
yeah.
if you want to
So.
get together some weekend and just do like deep cleaning for
Yeah,
rugs,
no, Hex,
I'm
I'm
in, man.
actually
Jesus
totally
Christ,
down.
What the fuck is going?
What we could do, maybe we could
Is this
bring
an
both of-
innuendo?
Shh, just
true.
let this happen, Scott. Let's deep
we
clean
could find
each
out
other.
who would want us to come over and help them like clean. We'll bring both of our
Don't say
machines,
this out
and then-
loud because Bob and Nicole are gonna be like, "Come clean our entire house."
That's true. Okay, Bob's house off limits. He has like 12 kids though. I don't think we
I've
could.
cleaned that basement 4 times. I'm not doing it again, man. I've been there. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want
so
like
yeah.
a music video where it's the two of you like synchronized like choreography, steam cleaning a carpet in like time lapse,
God damn.
I love it.
It's
Let's
so
do it.
satisfying.
and everything's
Yes.
to the beat. It would look so cool.
All right, let's talk about what we've been playing this week. Scott, why don't you go first?
Yeah. All right. I'll go first. I started playing Spec Ops: The Line on Monday. Beat that
Nice.
in like a day or 2 days.
It's only like a 6-hour
And-
game, right?
Yeah, it's short. It's like 6-7 hours, I guess. And I have to agree with Nick Fenton, I think, on this, that it's just, I don't know. Like when I got to the end, I was just kind of like, I know that, and everyone was telling me it was like, man, like it's gonna blow your mind
This
and all this
game
kind of
is
stuff.
this game is really cool if you're 14 and love thinking when things are like super deep, dude. Oh my god.
It does kind of feel like that. It
Oh,
does.
dude. I was the killer the whole time. I did all the bad things, man.
It's just
Shit.
no, and it's not. I don't know. I don't hate. Like I didn't hate it. Like I still enjoyed the experience overall. Like I don't know. There were some frustrating things with like the cover mechanics, and it is, it's just you're killing so many fucking, just like stereotypical kind of, not even bad guys, but just soldiers. And but then people are like, well, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be.
I hate that
mindfuck.
argument. I hate that argument because wouldn't it be a much more powerful way to deliver your message if your mechanics were good, if the enemies that you fought were
Yeah.
good, that were satisfying to kill? Because isn't that what it's supposed to do? It's supposed to make you feel bad about the choices that you made for killing all the people.
Yeah,
Like
and I'm
make it like me killing all these people interesting and not like mind numbing.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
won't. There's not even necessarily spoilers at all because I won't say exactly what happens at the end if you haven't played it. But at this point, what is it? How old is that game? Like 5 years old?
Something
It's
like
like-
that.
It's like 3 years old, probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, and there's some cool stuff in it. Like there's some cool moments and stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of agree though. Like this kind of idea, and if you like the game, God bless you. I didn't hate it, but I just
the game. It's just
did like it. It's just it didn't blow me away, and I felt like a lot of it was kind of like forced, and also like you were comparisons to a lot of other things that have been done before. Not that there really is anything new under the sun.
It's even stated that it takes a lot of inspirations from other like books
Yeah.
and stuff.
Exactly.
But like the concept is great. The delivery is like not that great.
Yeah, I mean, when I played
exactly.
it, I enjoyed.
The execution
I
wasn't
appreciate the
fantastic.
thought, like trying to make like you don't get sort of stories like that in video games that often.
Yeah. So anyway, like I don't know. I don't even know what rating to give it. Like I would still think it's an interesting playthrough and it's like short, so there's not really there's like really no disadvantage to playing it. I would probably wouldn't buy it. I guess if you bought it, I could understand the disappointment too, maybe from people if you bought that like full price.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
really short campaign.
Especially and people like to say like, yeah, you could stop playing it and that's how you really beat the game. It's like, no,
What?
I gave them money. I gave them.
Yeah.
No, that's what people will say in like
No, they
forums
do.
game. They're like, it's like you can choose to stop playing, and that way you don't kill all these virtual people. It's like, no, I'm gonna play the game that I paid money for. I'm gonna complete this.
Right,
I'm gonna
of course.
to the end.
That was actually an argument in the chat that people were making when I was playing. People were like, "You could stop." Like,
No, that's like
No.
I've seen like discussions online for this, and people say that, and it makes no sense to me.
you're not gonna stop.
I'm not gonna stop playing the video game that I paid money for.
Right, obviously.
So
Maybe-
Anything else
I mean,
besides?
if I think they intended it to be kind of controversial, and it sounds like maybe they succeeded given the conversation I just heard.
Good talking point. I like it for that reason.
it raised some discussion, though I don't know how much of it is intentional and how much of it was like rushed and kind of tacked on and not executed that well. But then under the guise, then you can be like, well, it's a conversation starter.
Well,
Like, all
it
right,
also, as a game, it plays really well. Like, as a third-person shooter with a cover-based system, like,
Doesn't play that well.
I thought it played well. I enjoyed the
I
cover
had some
system.
issues with it. I had some issues with like cover being not detecting and shit, and like
Like this, there's stealth mechanics, but they're really plain. It's just like sneak,
Alright.
like walk up behind the guy while crouching. There's your stealth.
Okay.
yeah. No, but you're right, Tex. Overall, like it's not terrible.
Yeah,
like there's some cool
It's
moments.
short,
Like,
but it's not a bad game. It's just
not
maybe
bad.
not like what they were aiming for.
yeah. And also, I feel like it was like in the sense of it being. It was definitely. I feel like they ran out of time. I don't know. It seemed too short for what they were trying to accomplish. Trying to pack too much in.
I just didn't like that. Like at the I mean, spoilers obviously, but
Whatever spoilers.
at the end of the game, like it's like basically throwing in your face. It's like you had a choice, but like there are parts of that game where you literally have to you have to
Yeah,
do
you have to
terrible
choice.
things, and you in order to progress.
Right.
Right.
Like,
But then,
well,
see, the other side is that's the
and
whole
then I get
point.
you don't have to do the terrible things in the video game.
That's when you can stop playing. Like you can make the decision not to. But then other people will be like, but that's the choice. The whole point is that they say you have a choice, but you really never had a choice. That's the mind fuck. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, so this has been our review of a game from 3 years
Anyway,
ago.
sorry. I know this is what happens. And see, the one good
too
thing
much.
though about me playing these games so late is that I almost always get like the patched. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting the best version.
Right,
so I also
right.
started playing Sleeping Dogs, and I got the definitive edition. And I know that when that game came out, it was like bug ridden and really, really rough, and that kind of hurt its scores. But I'm really having a lot of fun with Sleeping Dogs. It's really, really
Yeah, remember that one's Game of the Year 2011, and you all voted for fucking Dishonored? You're all terrible human
Was
beings.
that
Was that year? Fuck all of you.
I didn't vote for Dishonored.
No.
I'm pretty sure Scott did vote for
I
Dishonored.
did vote that because that was one of the. I did play.
Yeah,
it.
and did you finish Dishonored, Scott? for that year? Let's talk about this again, because I'm pretty sure.
I probably didn't. Even.
Fucking 4 years
did.
later, we're all
The
still
problem was
salty
though I
about this
hadn't played
shit.
Sleeping Dogs though. I don't know if I would have voted. I would have voted Sleeping Dogs over Dishonored though. That's fucking true.
It's a good game. It's a solid game. And, like, that year, it was definitely, in my opinion, the best game that came out. But looking back at it, it doesn't hold up quite as well, but it's still a decent game.
Dishonored, yeah.
I actually watched you play some of Sleeping Dogs. What are your thoughts on that one?
I really like it a lot. It's really fun. There's a lot to do. It's one of the few kind of like, not few, but one of the better open world games where like all the side stuff, it really incentivizes
You want to do it because it's interesting. What they don't do is what Grand Theft Auto does with side missions and just like send you to get shit. It was really good. I like that.
No, I
Yeah,
totally
the side
agree.
quests are they add to the universe. Like they make you feel like, oh, if I do this actually has a fucking merit to it. I'm not just like, oh, go deliver. Like GTA 5, one of my least favorite missions. It wasn't even a side mission. This was like an actual fucking story mission. Tow cars. Nothing is more boring than fucking towing cars.
Towing
Really
cars.
And they do little things that also like make it better. So like once if you go out on a date with like one of the girls that you run into in the story, they give you these perks, which is I think similar in GTA. I think there's something like that. Like in GTA, they'll give you like you'll be invulnerable to like certain like your heat level goes down and stuff like that.
Right.
They do the same thing in Sleeping Dogs, but in Sleeping Dogs they add stuff like, so there's like, there's those loot cases hidden all over the city.
Yeah.
So it'll show you on your mini map, like once you go on the date with her, it shows you on the map where all those are, and then those keep progressing, and it shows you where all the hell shrines are. So
yeah, I saw when you were streaming, your big thing on the last stream I watched was, we're gonna find all these fucking hell shrines right now. Like this is
I'm
this
upset.
is our
Like
fucking
if
mission.
I see one, even if I'm on a mission, I just stop and I want to do it.
Yeah,
So,
you fucking drowned your buddy looking for
I had to
hell
reset
shrines.
for that. That was and then the story's really good. Like it just picks up and it's just it's got all the kung fu.
I think honestly for an
Stuff
open
in it,
world
that's
game,
pretty-
it's one of the best stories for an open world game in the last several years. Like it's better than any of the GTA stories in my opinion. I think it was really interesting, and it's a travesty what they did to that series after the fact. Like the Triad Wars game, the free to play open world. Like it's a disaster area. It's so fucking bad, and they should be ashamed of themselves because you could have done a really cool sequel to that with anything else but a free-to-play open world fucking
I was asking
MMO.
too because I didn't know about it, heck. So I was like, as the game's been getting better, I'm like, man, this is so fucking good. I'm like, I really hope they're gonna make a sequel, and everyone's like, they already did, and it's a fucking terrible free-to-play.
Yeah, Triad Wars is a disaster area. Like, don't even try it. It's so bad. It doesn't even control or play as well as the first game. Like the controls aren't well done. The environmental interaction is not very well done. It's just a fucking travesty. Go back and play the original. Like even get the remastered version with the DLC. It's a really good game.
Yeah. So I think that's it. So then obviously did play a little Counter-Strike actually this week. But yeah, that's it for me.
What about you, Nick? What have you been playing this week?
Destiny.
What is that? A new game?
You don't
I've
say.
I've not heard of that before. Can you tell me a
It's
little
like
bit about it?
It's like a World of Warcraft with a Call of Duty and a little bit of Halo
A little bit Halo, just tossed
and
in there.
space.
The Halo side is the 30 FPS part, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much most of it. Yeah. What is my light level? I think I'm like 287. Not like almost ready to raid, so I haven't really been doing anything like super interesting. Just like finishing up little quests and trying to get new gear so I can get ready to do the raid, which hopefully I do this week at some point. And I got my black spindle, which is the sniper rifle, that exotic sniper rifle that you do from doing that mission that people were talking about.
we all know exactly what you're talking about.
Is it everything
It
that we've
got
all
news
dreamed of?
stories that I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have heard about this. Even like
I
Bob,
usually-
Bob linked me to an article for
I
Destiny.
seek out Destiny articles online
Okay,
to dive in. Yeah,
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll never talk
I
about
still
Destiny
need to
again.
play it. I need to play it.
I would play it if it came to PC, and
Yeah, me too.
I feel like we say this every week.
yeah,
we do,
I'm
but
just say,
I
like
really would.
it looks like it might. They've Bungie's been hiring some PC port devs, so maybe we'll get a copy on PC, and I would definitely check it out at that point. But anything besides
re-level
Destiny?
all of the.
Wait, so what was your
different
tweet? What were
characters.
you mad about? You tweeted a Halo 5 thing. What was?
Oh, there's
What-
all it was. Well, I think I'm excited for Halo 5.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of the changes do bug me, but I'm still very excited. But they added a fucking iron sight to the assault rifle, which they already have smart scope for weapons that don't have scopes, so you can zoom in.
Oh, okay.
But they also made a cosmetic iron sight that you can put onto the assault rifle,
So
which
is
seems so
is
unnecessary.
it purely cosmetic? Like
I think it is. It probably like has different stats like for accuracy or something, but
Okay.
it's just,
Well, so literally just Destiny. That's all you've played this week.
I think it's. I mean, I didn't play Halo 5. I just saw a picture.
Okay. So that's just it for you.
I just played Destiny.
Just Destiny. All right, Brandon. What did you play this week, Brandon?
Played a little bit of Hearthstone. Played a tiny bit of Diablo, but like I feel like that's kind of seems to be fading out with people playing. Like I don't think there really anyone on when I got on, so I decided not to play, which is kind of sad because Diablo is. I really only have fun with Diablo when I'm playing with other people. But that was a nice, few weeks there. I got another probably 40 hours out of the game. The only other thing is I played some Rocket League, and they're ranked. Like the ranked grind just seems so slow.
Yeah.
Like I'm at 400 elo, and I'm a pretty good Rocket League player, so I figure I would probably level out maybe somewhere between 800 and 1,000 on most of the ladders. But I'm going to play, and I'm playing solo. I'm playing solo dueling last night, and at 400 elo, and I play one game, and I get 3 points.
3? How do you get 3 points in a match?
That's like what you get for winning one of those 1v1 aim rounds in fucking Counter-Strike that take like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, that is.
It was
really
like maybe I guess because the matches are only 5 minutes long, maybe it's not really that bad in terms of time commitment when you compare it to other games and their ranked ladders. But like it just felt so slow to me, and I had to imagine I wasn't playing people around 400 because like some of the people I was playing they were all right, but when I only ranked up 3 points, I was just like, why would I play this when I know that I could eventually get to a much higher rank, but I didn't want to go through a whole bunch of games, and I'm probably going to lose some of them just by chance. Like you'll run into people you're going to lose to. And so I played like 3 or 4 games. I lost one of them, and I ended up back at the same rank I started. I was at like 400. So that was, I don't know, it was not very satisfying. But maybe that's just like how ranked is. I've never really gone hard on ranked in games except for Hearthstone, and Hearthstone is like not super fun when you start ranking up a bunch. But yeah, so that's really all I've played.
Okay. John, what about you? What have you been playing this week?
Dota. Tried Wildstar for a little bit. Had some fun. Server problems have driven me away until it's more stable, but I'll probably dive back into it a little bit.
So from the free-to-play standpoint, does it seem decent? Like, does it seem cosmetic, or do you think it's going to be a problem for them?
It seems fine.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I don't see any issues with it at all.
Yeah, I haven't dove back into it yet, but I enjoyed like what I played of it when it first came out, but I'd like to revisit it now that it's free to play. So we'll see. As far as what I've been playing this week, I only played a couple things. The biggest thing I played this week is Sublevel 0, which is coming out on October 8th. We'll have some information about that once it comes out. We're not allowed to send anything out beforehand, but I can say it's Descent plus fucking Binding of Isaac. It's a roguelike Descent game. If you are a big Descent fan, it's a 6th degree of freedom shooter that you fly through fucking planets and blast a bunch of shit out of robots, and it's got a really cool crafting system, and I'll have some other information about it once it comes out. I've already recorded some gameplay of it. It's actually in the running so far for my favorite indie game of 2015 because I'm a big Descent fan, and I have been waiting for a real successor to that series ever since like Descent 2, because 3 doesn't count in my opinion. I also have been playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 of all things. There's an open client for it's Open RCT 2, and it takes the original assets and everything from Roller Coaster Tycoon and all of its expansions, and it scales them up to 1080p, and it makes them run on a modern system really easily. You got a lot more screen space. It actually makes that game a lot more fun because you can play it on a real system with like fucking all the access you could possibly ever want to it from a screen real estate perspective. If you ever played it, if you played it when you were like a kid, or when systems were just being able to run that kind of game at like 1024 by 768, every time you build like a roller coaster, or if you click on a citizen that's like running around in your park or like an employee, it pulls up this little window and you run into that space really, really quickly. So with all the extra screen space of a modern PC, it's actually a lot of fun to play. I'm looking forward to Roller Coaster Tycoon World, though I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to be good, but it might be. But Parkitect also is like a modern reinvention of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 that so far is shaping up to be good. But that's basically it for me this week.
Need a remake of Theme Park.
Yeah, that would be good. I would play that.
Love that
I want
game.
a good Zoo Tycoon.
I would play that too. Zoo Tycoon, the original, was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. The dinosaur expansion, Jurassic Park, boys.
All right. So before we move on to news and new releases, we're going to do a quick little reminder. Hey, Extra Life is coming up soon. It's about 2 weeks away for us. We're going to do our event from October 16th to the 18th. We've got a really cool venue that's going to make it a lot of fun for you guys to watch this year. We will be doing a live podcast from that venue. We've also got a PC this year to give away that has been provided by Corsair, MSI, and Origin PC. We can't reveal all of the specs for it yet, but what we've heard already, it's going to be a lot of fun to...
It's a naughty girl. It's real nice. It's been bad.
Dirty fucking PC. Yeah, you guys are going to want to donate to give this away. We've also got some components and peripherals coming from Corsair, and our friend Tetra Ninja has donated two 256 gig solid state drives and an H100i that we're going to give away. So make sure that you tune in to twitch.tv/KBMOD from October 16th to the 18th. We'll be doing 3 individual streams, and we've got a lot of fun stuff to give away. So that's your reminder. You've got about 2 weeks to lock that funding down to give away, or to give us, so we can give you guys PCs and fun games and a bunch of hardware.
And if you have games that you don't want, things that you would like to donate, you can email us, like digital game keys, things like that. We would love to give those away, and we will shout you out as the donor for that stuff. So we generally have a bunch of stuff from the community. We're still obviously taking those. We would love to have. If you can't actually donate money, that would be a great way to help us out and help us raise more money.
Yep.
By incentivizing donations from others.
All right, we're going to take a quick 2-minute commercial break, and then we'll be back with the news and new releases.
Yes. Thank you.
And now everyone can pee. Everyone can go and pee right now. I'm going to go actually pee as well, so.
All right. Yeah. Me too. I'll just edit this out. Don't worry. Don't worry, listeners. You're not listening to this actually right now, so I don't need to be talking. So.
Oh, wow, you're going to edit it out for once.
No, I'm kidding. I'm actually not going to go anywhere because I don't want to do that. So let's talk about something, Brandon.
Okay, Scott.
Come on. Popcorn topics. What do you got?
What kind of dust do you like on your popcorn?
What kind of dust?
Popcorn dust.
Oh, yeah, like at the movie theater. I've literally never used that ever. So I don't know.
You're missing out.
I
What
just
do you
like
get?
the
Get some
like
parm.
the
Get some
salt.
parm dust.
Yeah, like the
always see it.
salt that they use in the big shakers.
Yeah, it's like really fine.
Like really
Okay.
fine. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
it is-
Really
it's like
fine
dust.
salt dust. Yeah,
Just get that dust lord going.
that top layer of popcorn after they put that salt dust on is some of the best. The popcorn at the bottom is trash.
Do you guys ever ask, do you ever get extra butter? You have them do that for you?
No.
I'm too embarrassed to ask for extra butter.
No, I like, even if they ask, I normally I won't get butter on it. Like, the only time I'll do butter is if it's if the place has the little thing where you put it on yourself.
Oh, okay.
And if it's that case, then I just fill up. I empty the popcorn out and fill the bucket up with
Problem
butter.
with the butter is it's so
And then get a
uneven
straw.
when they apply it. It's very hard.
Yeah,
to get
that's a good
proper,
Yeah, you basically
butter
get the top
coverage.
layer. The top layer is a pretty solid.
That's why I bring
butter,
usually
and
my
then
own
nothing
mixing
else.
bowl, and I dump the popcorn out. I have them do it, and then I toss it, and then I put it back into the...
I want to make
honestly,
sure they're
what
getting
you
full
have to do.
coverage.
Because there's nothing worse than you go and bite into a nice handful of popcorn, and one of the pieces of popcorn is just covered in butter. and
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much. I don't know. I'm not... Yeah. Popcorn, the thing is, you always get a size of popcorn, and then you're just this is a mistake. I don't know. I never can finish by myself. What? An entire thing.
You've never finished by yourself, Scott?
Well, that's...
Well, you know what you should do? Use the butter as a lube, and
Yeah.
you're good. You're
I could
good.
usually get close. It depends. But I feel like a small popcorn, sure. But I always go... My appetite
that's why
is way
You,
larger.
you want the
than-
one with the free refills. That's like your human nature. You want the free refills.
Right.
Yeah, you want to get the...
Here's 8 pounds of popcorn. If you can somehow finish this, we'll give you more for free, you fucking glutton.
Yeah, and they know that there's very
That's why why the small popcorn is $8. The medium popcorn is $8.50.
Exactly.
And the large popcorn is $9.
That's how they get you. Yeah, we're just like, we might as well. Also, this is the totally unrelated, but since we're talking about food, guys, Golden Corral takeaway home box, $1.99.
Scott,
I don't know if you've seen the
None of
commercials.
those words mean fucking anything.
Scott, no.
I don't know if
Look,
you've seen the commercials.
Scott, I know where
it's a
you
huge
live.
deal.
I know where you
I've
live.
actually never been to Golden Corral, but I've literally just read Reddit posts about the horror stories of
There
how
is one
terrible it is.
literally less than a mile from you, and if I
No, I
come
know.
to your
I've seen it.
house
I've seen
and
it.
there is nothing but Golden Corral takeaway boxes just littered across your kitchen, and you are just fat and dead in your living room, I'm
the
going to be real
philosophy
upset.
behind that $1.99 to like take someone else's unfinished food?
No, apparently no. You can, according to the commercial, you can fill it with right from the buffet.
Just
So
That's
belly
what
up
they
to the
tell you.
trough, like there
Yeah.
you go.
that's how you know the food is so. I mean, obviously it's a source, a buffet, that Golden Corral, which is not the highest quality. It's like, hey, all you can eat for $6. The food can't be that good, but they're like, just fill up as much as you can, just shit you can get in a box for $2.
As someone
Golden
who's been to a
Corral-
Golden
Their
Corral,
slogan should just be like, "Hey, you want to press your luck?"
That actually would be good. Oh fuck! It's got the who's that fucking comedian pushing it?
Patton Oswalt has a good bit about those kind of places. Just bend over,
Alternate-
Daisy, and may the
alternate
gravy
slogan is
pipe's
like-
coming in.
It's like, how badly do you want to save money tonight?
I've been to my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, sadly, is a big Golden Corral fan, and I've been there with him more than once. And it's just like, this is so mediocre. Like, I would so much rather.
I mean, as long as
pay
I guess
another
if it's not making you
$10.
sick, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it never made
I
me
was gonna
sick,
say,
but it was just like
for
eh.
$1.99, mediocre, that is success.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
mean,
Yeah.
for what it costs, as someone who's been to a Golden Corral sadly more than once, for what it costs, I mean, it's not terrible
It's not
food.
terrible, yeah.
But like at this point, when I got to eat, like I feel like I have gotten to the point where it's like, well, if I couldn't make it by myself, I want it to be of decent quality, and that's what drives me crazy about my dad. Is like he could really you could just go spend like $10 on a really nice steak and grill it way better than this. Why'd you spend $10 on like a shitty fucking steak? Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. That argument, like, I could also spend, a few bucks here and there and get like, fresh ingredients from the grocery store, and instead I buy Hot Pockets.
You should stop doing that. You should really stop doing that and get the fresh ingredients, Brandon. You're gonna die. You're gonna die.
Listen, do you know how expensive it would be for me to make a fresh chicken pot pie?
It's not very.
wouldn't be
Ginny
that
made one this
expensive.
week. Ginny made one this week. It's not very expensive.
You just get the part.
Yeah, but
much is it? I
that
want you to tell me how much it is.
the frozen crust on a chicken pot pie. Oh my god, there's nothing better than that crunchy sort of soggy frozen crust.
I hate all of you. I'm leaving the podcast
If you find a way that I can make like fresh, handmade, bite-sized chicken pot pies
All right, well,
for less
bite-sized.
than $2,
All right, I can't beat that.
then maybe I'll change my mind.
No, you're probably right on that.
You're right
You would have
there.
to be buying in massive bulk and supplying for everybody to probably do that.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about Brandon's sick obsession with Hot Pockets chicken pot pies, let's move on to news. I know I said new releases, but I didn't pay attention to new releases this week. Was there anything? Does anybody know? Was there good new releases this week that I missed?
Who fucking cares? Taken King.
Yeah, Taken King's out. So basically, all other video games are dead at this point.
Yeah, fuck it.
But in the news, Wildstar has officially gone free to play. If you were someone that paid for that, well, you're a sucker because who didn't see this coming?
Fallout come out? Didn't the Fallout anthology come out?
Oh yeah, Fallout Anthology came out probably on Tuesday. I would guess that's when games come out.
It was. That's it.
But yeah, Wildstar has gone free to play. John has dipped his toe in. I have yet to do so. Has anybody else taken a peek at it? Was anybody else somebody
Nope.
that bought it and played it at all? Like I know I played with John whenever it came out originally.
I played the beta, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to it now that it's free to play. I liked what I played when it was that first paid month, but it was not enough to keep me locked into it. I think it has a really good art style. I think it's got an interesting universe. I read a big article this week about actually, I don't know if it was the Destructoid one or maybe there was one on Rock Paper Shotgun as well, about that game took 7 years to develop and then it lasted like a year of paid access. So that's kind of a bummer for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that's kind of just the way the MMO market works at this point. Like,
It really is.
Because when they started making that game, like, I don't even remember what would have been the kind of the competition 7 years ago.
Jeez, that would have been
I mean,
like 08.
obviously
so.
WoW, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
WoW.
like
Guild
2008.
Wars?
Probably Guild Wars, yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bit of Guild Wars, but not that much. Not even close to WoW.
Was what's the one that's on Steam that I probably still have installed? No, I don't anymore. It starts with a T.
Terra?
Terra? Was Terra a thing?
No, that was not
No,
7.
no,
That was
no.
like that was like 3 years ago.
I think was like Warhammer Online, Age of Conan.
Age of Conan, yeah.
Frame.
Some Lord of the Rings Online.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was better off that way, Nick. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
Like I think at a certain point you have to hope that you could be the WoW killer, and a lot of people thought that about Wildstar, but as it turns out, that was not the case. And I think Wildstar is maybe the final example of like there is no WoW killer.
Yeah.
Like the people playing WoW are they're always gonna play WoW. Like I think they're so attached to that game at this point that you might get them to subscribe to another MMO because like a lot of the people playing WoW probably have the appetite for something new in addition to WoW. But I don't think anything can hope to steal WoW's market share. I think WoW's market share will just fall over time because like people will get interested in other games of all sorts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I can't think of a game that could be like we've had so many proposed WoW killers. And I think Wildstar is probably as close to any game has ever been to being a WoW killer. But if you played it, especially from launch, it was such a slow game. Like, the grind for leveling was fucking brutal. And the nice thing about WoW, especially at this point, is that the 1 to 60 game is really quick. Like, you can do 1 to 60 in a couple days. Like, you could really do it in, like, a day if you really sat down and just ground through it. But there's enough content post 1 to 60 that you can keep playing after the fact. With Wildstar, instead of saying like, well, we have X number of content that can keep you involved for so long, they just made all of their content a grind, which I think is a thing that a lot of MMOs really have a struggle with at this point. Like, I don't want to grind like that anymore. I don't want to play vanilla WoW at this point. I want that quick payoff for an MMO.
Yeah, and to echo what Brandon's saying too.
Fucking millennials.
Like, I don't think to say that there's going to be a WoW killer. WoW was an anomaly, and there may never be an MMO that ever gets there. Like you're saying, people are playing a lot more varied. I feel like people play a lot of different types of games now.
Yeah,
than just having one kind of hardcore thing.
And the other thing too is like WoW, with every expansion, yes, the expansion costs money, but with every expansion, WoW's value proposition for a new player gets better and better.
Right.
Like if you're a new player to WoW, the sheer amount of content in that game is just ridiculous. So like for any MMO to come out today and hope to compete with WoW's polish and amount of content, they just can't do it. Like I think you have to be so different that someone coming from WoW, like it's something they can't get with WoW, which I think like the direction you would have to go with an MMO would be, I think we've talked about this before, but something like a kind of Star Wars Galaxies type model, like super player-oriented, player housing, like player-driven, whereas WoW is very much set up for you, even with the Garrisons and stuff. Like, WoW, the world is what it is. I think the only game that could really compete with like WoW from I don't know, being the next big thing is something that is completely player-driven and like has a full player economy, has a lot of that stuff, like the personalization that WoW doesn't have.
Right.
And no game has like come remotely close to I think what's needed to be that much different to where people don't want to go back to WoW because they're invested in like all of these different mechanics that WoW just doesn't offer and won't offer.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what Wildstar tried to do, like the player housing thing and the level of customization that was there, but I don't think it was good enough to grab players and pull them in.
It was just too grindy. They fucked up the leveling. The end game still to this day, from what I understand, is incredible. Like the raid content's difficult. Even the dungeons when you're leveling are difficult. It's just it takes too long to get to where people want to be. Nobody plays MMOs to level. They play for end game content.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with Wildstar, is that the level grind was rough. It was really, really bad, especially at launch. And I hope that they have addressed that in the free-to-play. I plan to dip my toe back into it now that it's gone free-to-play, but we'll see what happens with it. Next, Oculus Rift has announced that it will be at least $350 at launch, and the reason behind that is that Paul Malarkey says they're pricing it this way so there will be no compromises, which instills faith and also a little fear at the same time. If you're going to bring out something this big, it's been building up for so long, I would want it to work great out of the box, but I think that pricing is starting to get out of the realm of people just like impulse purchasing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a hard sell for someone like that isn't sure about it.
Wasn't 300 their price that they marketed early on, though?
Yes, and that now they're saying at least 350. I would venture that they've realized, okay, well, 300 isn't reasonable, and Valve with the Vive has talked about the $400 price mark, so they're probably going to aim a little closer to that, maybe 375. I think would be safe for them, considering they're talking about a $400 price point with the Vive, but that's a new GPU. Like, that's a lot of money to drop on something that we don't know how many games will pick up and actually support or how many experiences you will have with it. So it makes me a little nervous. It's going to be
hard to justify that at launch.
Yeah.
Or no.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about that last week.
Sasuke, get it going.
I think it just means until the adoption is going to be a lot less initially, and then it's just going to be as hopefully it comes down in price, then people will buy it a lot more. Which is
they probably it's the same thing I feel like with free to play games where the prices start really high. You kind of want to anchor the price like expectation at something that will allow you to sell them and continue further development.
Right.
Like they're owned by Facebook now. Like you have to.
Yeah.
They can't just. I mean, Facebook could just pour money into this, and obviously they are pouring money into the R&D of this tech. But I think saying like if they said it would be a really low price, like I don't think it's ready for mainstream adoption anyway. And I would imagine they're probably doing the analysis to say the people that are going to buy it at 300 are probably still going to buy it at 350. Like these early adopters are not necessarily that price sensitive, and I think the product still probably has a ways to go before they want it in the hands of people who are going to be price sensitive and want it at a lower price point. So like it makes sense too. This is not, it's not like stuff that is being mass produced today.
Right.
It's like a lot of, it's a lot of stuff that they don't have economies of scale on. So I'm not surprised by this because honestly, some of the price points I'd heard before, I was like, how are you going to make this and like turn a profit with the price that low? And 350 sounds a lot more reasonable for the hardware.
That even sounds a little low given how long this R&D's taken, but I'm guessing they're just trying to find the appropriate balance.
Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that they're buying, for at least for like the DK2 or any other, like the Crescent Bay, they were buying like B stock of cell phone screens for the longest time. So now they've got like the Facebook money where they can go and actually get hardware manufacturers to make stuff specifically for this. Hopefully, the fact that it's taken as long as it has, and they're putting that premium price point on it, you're going to get like a screen that you can't get that screen door effect with, or you're not going to get the motion sickness. Because even this last week, Valve came out and said, "Hey, if you're getting nausea and motion sickness from your games, at this point, the hardware is now past that, and it's the developer's fault. Like they should be aiming for a higher target when they're developing." So I hope that extra price point makes the headset the thing that it should be, especially once you show someone who maybe wouldn't have that regular interest in just VR, like a hardcore PC gamer or someone that's really into the newest tech, showing them this is what the future is will get them to buy that. But that's a big buy-in, especially considering the hardware that it takes to back it up.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is as quickly as they've been iterating on the Oculus, like every time they take it to a trade show, it's like markedly better than the last time. I think in order to get the early adopters to buy it, you have to do I think like a lot of work to get them to understand that like this is going to be a worthwhile purchase for a couple years. And I haven't seen, as someone who's tried a few of the Oculus before, like I wouldn't buy them just because it's advancing so quickly that I would feel like paying for one today. It's sort of like getting getting an iPhone or something. Like there's always going to be a newer, better one next year. But with the Oculus, I feel like the timeline's even shrunk. Like there's going to be a newer, better Oculus in 6 months, and maybe they're trying to get ahead of that and be like, no, the consumer version that we've launched is like the absolute best we can do for right now, and you should buy it now and develop on it now because this is like we've put a ton of work into this version, and the next time we release one, like it's going to be a little ways down.
Yeah, I would hope that's what their goal is, because I mean I've played with the DK2 at this point, and as mind blowing as it was the first time I played with it, it made me sick. Like for about 45 minutes it was fun, and it was like I got to move away from this. So I'm hoping that that's their actual plan. It's like we saw where the DK2 was, which a lot of people have their hands on at this point. The Crescent Bay they didn't really throw out to as many developers as the DK2. So I hope that the CV1, what they're calling the consumer release, is going to be that thing that's like, you saw this is awesome, this is where we are for 2 years until GPU technology catches up to the point that we could put a 4K screen in these things and it would be better. So we'll see where it goes. I think that's a little bit of a high price point, but I mean, it won't stop me from buying one probably at launch, honestly.
Yeah, no. I think it'll scare away the people that they probably don't want buying it. Like, they don't want someone who's not going to be invested in sort of like the ecosystem. I feel like that's a large enough price where you're going to get developers buying it, you're going to get enthusiasts buying it, but you're not going to get like, a kid asking for it for Christmas.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, a smart teenage boy who knows that he
Why does that have to be a boy?
Okay, or a girl who knows that they can have all of the virtual sex.
So much porn. So much porn.
A smart teenage consumer
once the
will
word
get
of
one
mouth
from
gets
his
out,
parents.
then yes.
Yeah.
Mother, father, may I have an Oculus Rift for pornography? I don't know.
All right. So with that, let's move on to the next point. So ex-Criterion vevs and devs. Several devs from Criterion have plans for a spiritual successor to Burnout. So they're with Three Fields Entertainment is the company they've formed, and they tweeted out this week that they worked on a sports game, but their next game is going to be a little more close to their roots. And the tweet was, "What sort of driving game, you ask? A spiritual successor, speed, traffic, and crashing. Lots and lots of crashing. Hashtag shiny red something," which the original code name for Burnout was shiny red car. So it's pretty much confirmed that Burnout is going to get a spiritual succession reboot, which I personally am really excited for. I love the Burnout series.
Burnout 3, one of the best PS2 games of all time.
Oh yeah, it's a great game.
So good. I mean, Burnout Paradise was not great in my opinion.
I actually liked
What?
Paradise was great, man.
I like Paradise, but compared to the other, I thought 3 was
Man,
the...
shut the fuck
Well,
I thought 3
Paradise
was
is a
the
big
best in the
departure.
series.
Like it's different than 3.
That's what I mean. It wasn't bad, but they did a lot of different things in Paradise than they did in 3.
But I think they did a lot of things in Paradise that other franchises maybe had not done in quite a while.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
like when Paradise came out, a lot of people were still clamoring for like a new Need for Speed Underground style game
Yeah,
where it was
that's
open
true.
world driving, like upgradable cars, things you can unlock, which not quite the same thing. Like it's a little different, but it still scratched that itch in a certain way. And I liked Burnout Paradise. I think it's a good game.
I don't think it's a bad game. I preferred 3. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
I mean,
But
3
that
is
good
solid.
news. It's been a while since dipped my toe in a little bit of just fucking straight up cars, fucking massacres. It's so good.
Oh yeah, I mean the mode where it was like, okay, drive into this intersection.
Into the intersection.
That's
Was
the
there
best.
ever any politically correct like backlash on? I don't think the Burnout series ever suffered from that, but there was never like people in the car in Burnout.
Right.
So I guess that maybe kind of got away from it, but it was kind of funny that that whole mode where you just go into the intersection.
Yeah,
just cause
see
as
how
damage.
how many dollars can you rack up and
God.
down? Like that was so much fun. I'm super excited, especially now with like a next generation version of that kind of game where you can simulate so many cars or so many like physical objects to explode. I think there's a new market for that I would be super into playing that game.
Yeah, that's good news. That'll be fun.
I want a skate game, but instead of riding on a skateboard, you ride on burnout cars.
You want to knock out 2 at the same time, like
Yeah.
people crying for that and people crying for a skate game.
Yeah,
which-
just get them both done.
No, why not? Why not?
Makes sense.
So, also, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, a couple weeks ago, our Let's Get Mad section was about their hideous fucking pre-order scheme, which they have now canceled that.
Yeah, due to negative consumer response. So you guys really we all have power, guys. They listened.
Vote with your wallet,
So-
like Brandon tells you.
Yeah, I don't even think people voted with their... Actually, well, I'm sure they did vote with their wallets, but I think mostly they voted with all of the horrible backlash. That apparently they got tons and tons of responses about it. So, and I do I'm not going to lie, this is really good PR speak by them, and it made me... I was like, okay, I kind of get it anyway, because they do. They say when it was first conceived, they wanted a program to give you more choice about what you received in terms of pre-order incentives. So I don't know. It's kind of like it's an apology, but it's also not an apology. But at the end, they killed it. So
Right.
happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see where this would happen. Like when we talked about it, it's like, someone thought this was a good idea. I don't think they're just like sitting there in a room,
No, totally.
trying to make a scheme that people are going to hate.
No.
But obviously sometimes it can come out that way. Like you greenlight what ends up being a really poor idea, and it can be hard inside of your studio to see like why people would hate it.
Sure.
Right. Exactly.
Well, the thing is, at this point, there's already been, before this game, I mean, so much backlash around some of the ridiculous pre-order schemes. Like, if you look at Arkham Knight, which was a terrible game on PC that is just only about to come back out on PC after being recalled, there was a lot of shit that, like, okay, if you really charted it out and wanted to have the full experience for Arkham Knight, like every single mission, every possible unlock, all the things, you would have spent like $175 on that game just to, as a pre-order, and you would have to pre-order it on multiple consoles at that point. That's fucking insane. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to develop a game, give me the full experience. And I'm not big on pre-order bonuses. I don't pre-order a lot of games because I've been burned on it too many times at this point. But if you're going to do pre-order bonuses, that's fine. Like, I understand why you want to incentivize sales for your game. From a business standpoint, that makes perfect sense. Make them cosmetic. Oh, here's an extra costume you can play with. I would even go so far as to say, like, give me one extra level to play. Fine, I'll give you that. But, like, some of the shit they do with pre-order bonuses, especially in this case, is just, it's obscene. It's disgusting. Like,
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit, but like once you start separating, look at the pre-order stuff, you're like, well, if you're on the PlayStation 4, you don't get this Xbox content, and if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you start parsing stuff out like that, it really does get ridiculous. And I mean, this scheme wasn't good at all in the first place. When you really started, like, it just made people really upset, which is understandable. But like you said, I mean, the backlash on pre-orders recently has been. It's just not really. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we'll never get to the point where pre-orders aren't a thing, because
Sure.
it will. But
They make too
maybe
much
they'll be.
business sense. It's fine that there's pre-orders.
It's just how they're handled. And
well,
Yeah.
like,
I'm just glad there's another high profile turnaround on a scheme like this, because I feel like the more examples we have of kind of the community backlash and then a developer having to go back, like, just think about how much wasted money, like, on your marketing team, how much money was wasted on figuring this out, implementing like the tracking website, all this stuff. Like,
Right.
to turn around and say they're not going to do it anymore cost them a lot of money.
Sure.
And so hopefully, like, more studios will see this stuff and be like, you know what,
it's not even
this is
worth it.
kind of like, this feels like a gamble, and maybe we don't want to do it because look at what happened to Deus Ex.
Right, and that's a big that's a storied franchise. Like, it has roots back to like the beginning of really hardcore PC gaming, and they had to fuck it up. Like, and to Scott's point, if you're excluding Xbox content to PS4 content, not only do you have to buy two different copies of the game at that point, you're buying two separate consoles. Or if it's PC only content, you're buying
Sure.
two consoles and a PC. So, like, then to experience one game in its entirety, you've got $700 invested in consoles at that point, plus a $60 title on each. So almost $1,000 to experience one game. That's fucked up. Like,
Well, and no one's going to do that. I think
Of
that's
course.
why, like, hopefully games, I think very few games at this point can get away with it. Like, maybe Call of Duty, right? People, like, games that people sort of grudgingly accept,
Right.
because they love the franchise so much that they're going to buy it anyway. So, like, maybe Call of Duty, like maybe Assassin's Creed, but Deus Ex was maybe on that threshold. Like, there are a lot of people that love Deus Ex, and if any game could have gotten away with it, they might have been it, and not even they could get away with it. So
That's a good point.
hopefully it kind of puts a flag in the ground that, like, maybe these things aren't a good idea.
Yeah, I'm hoping this shows that other, not even developers, other marketing departments, that this is not the way to sell your game. So we're
Yeah, and I actually really
Kind of
like
is the
the sentence at the end is like, we knew this wouldn't have happened with a game that nobody cared about, and we're just focusing now on delivering a game that lives up to your hopes and expectations.
Yeah,
It's like, that's kind of marketing speak, but I hope that they actually feel that way. It's like, wow, the only reason anyone, like, gave us this negative feedback is because they care so much about the game. And so we should, like, not we should not take that lightly, right? Like a lot of games would kill for a fan base that fervent. So don't upset them. Like give people the game that they want and stop messing around.
Yeah, definitely. So.
We won, boys.
Yep,
we did it.
Reddit. You all did it.
Great job.
Thanks, Reddit.
I think actually they didn't say this, but I know what the kind of undertones of the article are. Is that basically it blew up on Reddit, and they don't want to make the Reddit community mad. So.
Yeah, it's like probably like Reddit,
Fear
NeoGAF,
Reddit.
like the places that hardcore gamers congregate and.
Okay, Reddit hardcore gamers.
Tumblr's real upset.
No, but it was real. Yeah, but I mean, I think Reddit really should get the credit.
Of course,
So,
we did it, Reddit. Congratulations, Reddit.
Hey, Reddit can be a blessing and a curse.
Oh yeah,
Mostly a curse.
All right, we got a couple quick hits for this week. First off, someone is making a functional version of Pokemon Red in Minecraft because that's
What does that mean?
So, literally you can
your
play
Minecraft
Pokemon.
character is you playing like as the Pokemon guy?
No,
or
so
whatever.
Look at the screenshots.
if you look through the article that we threw up in the
I'm not
doc
going to
here-
click on any
I mean
of these
that's
fucking
fine. You don't have to click on anything, Nick. We expect
I'll look
that.
at it.
So basically, it's a Game Boy in a giant desert Minecraft map, and then they have mapped out all of the rest of the game in chunks in Minecraft, and then you can play it through an actual Game Boy inside the environment, which just shows.
Can I just ask a simple question that I feel like a lot of people don't do with this Minecraft stuff?
Sure,
Why?
that's a solid question to ask.
Because you can.
I know,
That's the
like,
point of Minecraft is that
No.
you can make things.
I know, but
I mean,
this one seems. I mean, it's cool. I mean, just looking at it, it looks cool, but I don't know.
It's impressive, and there's a guy that made like a functional CPU inside Minecraft that was like, okay, just because I can, like the redstone will let me do this thing, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I think it's awesome. Like, good for the Minecraft community to keep finding weird ways to manipulate the game, but this is a lot. Like, looking at how complex this is, that's a lot of work. Who has that kind of time is what I have to question. Like, that's really what I want to know.
Yeah,
It's impressive.
I have no idea why people do these things, but I think it's very cool, and I think it's like, especially if it gets written up, on Kotaku or something. Like, I don't know how old the person is doing it, but like if they're a college student or something, this is the kind of stuff that can get you a job.
Sure.
I want to know what like the performance of the game is in game. Like, is it laggy?
They didn't say what the performance was like, and they also said it's a very early alpha right now. But I mean, I'd like to see. I mean, that's definitely. I haven't played Minecraft in a while, but I would try.
It does say lag is a very serious concern for the map.
Okay.
'Cause, like,
I'd
just
assume
given,
so.
I mean, loading
given
that
how
many
they have to
chunks,
store
yeah,
everything.
yeah. So yeah, there's a thing that you can look forward to playing. You can play the original Pokemon in Minecraft eventually. So look forward to that. Or
So can I just real quick read the top comment
Yes,
for that article?
of course.
Because this is what I was more saying. Not that I don't think it's cool, but it says, things like this are always cool. However, there comes a point where I wonder if these huge time sinks with little return could be better spent helping humanity progress or something.
That's
Which-
also an argument that you could apply to literally anything.
No,
in this
you could
world.
apply it
True.
to anything, but...
Oh, you spent 7 years making a
says
video
five
game?
nerds
Like-
who do like
Yeah.
a 3-hour podcast every week.
This
We
is
could be
not
curing
productive
cancer
at
right
all.
now, you guys.
No, it's cool. The thing is, though, I've literally never played really Minecraft. So
You've never
I'm a
played
hater.
Minecraft? How
I'm
the
like
fuck did you get
what's
through
it? I'm like
life?
Colin Coward or whatever. The guy who hates esports and gaming and all that stuff, commenting on Minecraft. I'm just like, I just don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
You've literally never played
He
Minecraft.
He's played Minecraft. I think he said he plays it with his
Did he?
kid.
Oh, he
I
does.
think,
Oh, okay.
I think so.
So I'm the worst. No, I mean, I don't hate it. I just, again, I've never played. Like, no, I booted it up, but I've never given it serious time.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I know that Minecraft's like that thing that everybody loves to hate on at this point for one reason or another.
I don't hate it.
But I genuinely lost hours and hours and hours of my life to that game. I really enjoyed
Pretty
it.
good at doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
Can't
if-
argue with
It's a
success.
Sandbox.
If you're playing it from the perspective of like it's basically like video game Legos. It's a good game. Like, it's a lot of. I mean, I haven't gotten quite so far into it as like, here's all the mods for it and 1,000 million different things that they've developed outside of the original game. But when that game launched in like alpha, I bought it and was just like, well, there goes 3 weeks of my life. Fuck, that's over now.
Putting her up for adoption.
I think like Minecraft is what other game do you have any article like this?
Right.
Like, someone has made a whole other thing inside of this game that like most people just use to make blocks.
Right. And I think the closest thing I can think to it to this is there was like a group that managed to make Doom playable within Doom, and that was about as close as you get to a game playable within a different game, because Doom is playable in literally everything at this point. So
Doom, where the main character isn't the Doom guy, it's MF Doom.
Right, of course.
Playing Doom.
Doom within a Doom within a Doom?
An MF Doom within an MF Doom.
Within an MF Doom. Okay. All right, so other quick hit this week. Humble. The guys that do the Humble Bundle that you throw money at for games that go into your Steam library that you never play, they have announced the Humble Monthly Bundle, which is basically Loot Crate for PC games. It's $12 a month, and they will deliver games to you, I believe they said the first Friday of every month, and they will be Steam titles that primarily work on Windows, but they are also saying that if it's a game that works on Linux and OS X as well, they will deliver those versions to you all in one. I am already struggling to not sign up for this because I already buy most of the Humble Bundles anyway. I think this is pretty awesome personally. I mean, we do Loot Crate obviously, but I think Humble Monthly makes a lot of sense for them.
We should also mention if you're listening right now, the current Humble Bundle, just not the monthly, but just the current Humble Bundle is really good.
It is.
It's like a bunch of games that have never been in Humble Bundles before. I picked that up instantly.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting until Tuesday to see what the expanded games are, but I probably will buy it just for Xenonauts alone because I've really wanted to play that for a while and haven't yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Like, I want to see a couple months worth of what games they put in the monthly. Just because I think a lot of people, as you can see from the average price on most bundles, like $12 a month is actually more than a lot of people spend on the different bundles. Like the average is generally around $6 to $7, something like that. So as silly as it sounds, I think for some people $12 a month will sound expensive for a Humble product.
Sure. I mean, I've definitely spent $12 on a Humble Bundle before, but I agree. I would like to see the first couple months to see what the caliber of games in these bundles is going to be. But if it's solid quality games at $12, then I'll probably sign up for it. I could always use more Steam games in my library that I will never play. So why not?
Yeah, it sounds like a cool idea. I'm glad that they are doing it. I'm not sure if I will personally be a customer, but I think it's a neat idea.
If there's at least one Call of Duty key for a Call of Duty game every month, I will pay $12 a month. But just surprise me. I don't care if it repeats after. Obviously, it would have to at some point, but just make sure there's a Call of Duty key in there, and I'm set.
Right. The other thing that's maybe a little different than it doesn't look like there are sliders for picking where your money goes, which I guess kind of makes sense because
I think it's 25% goes to charity, they said, or something.
Okay.
No, according to the page I read, it's 5%.
Well, that's not good.
See, that's a bummer.
That's the thing is like I don't know. It's a little
Yeah.
Again, 5% is like it's not nothing. But I think a lot of people buy Humble Bundles because like they can choose to give everything to charity.
Yeah,
if they want
I
to.
slide
Right.
like 90% of the stuff to charity
Yeah,
whenever I
that's-
buy Humble Bundle.
That's like 60 cents of every bundle goes. So, like, and that's why I buy Humble Bundles. It's like, well, I can get these games cheap that I might have bought otherwise, but I know that money's going to someplace other than just, like, Valve's pocket. Like, it's, oh, cool, I can help whatever charity I want to help. So that's, I wish they would change that. I did not look that far into it. That makes me less likely to buy that Humble Bundle monthly.
And it might just be a business reality of like doing a bundle. They have to convince people to get on board with a bundle. Like if they want to have something exclusive each month, I imagine that's not free. So I don't know, but I think that might turn some people off. Is like it's very much more of a Humble product, not so much like a charity initiative.
Sure.
Which
As long as they
could
keep
hurt their
doing
brand.
bundles for charity, I don't think people will complain. I just think they need to be transparent with what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they're actually trying to compete with their competitor, the Proud Individual, that just came onto the scene. I don't know if you've heard about them. They're actually the antithesis of everything that the Humble Bundle is. The Proud Individual.
I have
Nothing?
no idea
Nope.
what you're
No
talking
idea.
about.
what,
Not even the smile?
What?
The
What are
opposite.
I
you,
have no. I like the words you're saying.
It's
mean-
the opposite of Humble Bundle. It's an individual thing, and it's proud. Okay,
Scott? Okay, thanks for
That's-
being on the
that was
podcast
terrible.
again. That's
I tried. You know
literally
what?
the worst
Sometimes
thing
you
you ever
shoot,
said.
and it just it doesn't land.
I
Good
think it's
try.
because individual and bundle are not like exact antonyms.
yeah,
They're
That's
not,
not-
but
that's
it is
not.
an antonym. It is an antonym.
All right. Well,
so I mean, sort of like it's a stretch.
No, it
let's
is.
let's not get mad at Scott. Let's get mad at something else. Scott, you want to?
Oh, let's get mad at Scott.
Listen,
I'm,
I just
I'm
try to
actually
bring
okay
some
being
high
mad
qual-
at Scott.
Okay,
I
well,
try
let's
to
get
bring some
mad
high
at
class here.
let's
some
get mad
high-class
at
humor.
Scott, and also mad at this next
Well,
thing
it's
we're
just
getting mad at.
yeah. I don't know how mad we can.
I'm
Really
pretty mad
be
about it, honestly.
because Tony.
Bad Mike.
But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is fucking terrible, and I will link. There's been a lot of videos made on it already,
Yep.
but I will actually link the one from Polygon where. So it's just it's a terrible broken mess. The one thing I would have you take a look at, or we'll talk about it, but there's like 50 different fonts in this game, and they're
Yeah.
all terrible. There's things like you basically are either standing still or moving full speed the whole time, which makes it almost impossible to go over mission markers.
Right.
It's just a giant mess, and it looks like what's happened with this game is basically Activision's rights for it were I think we're up this year, so it was kind of like, well, we
Crank
just have
one
to
more
fucking
out, yeah.
I mean, get it out, obviously, and the backlash has been pretty bad. Which,
I think one of the titles for the articles, I think from Polygon, was "It's heartbreakingly bad," which is the best descriptor you could possibly. Like, it's been a long time since we've gotten a core Tony Hawk game, like the 1 through 4 is what I'm counting in this. So when they first announced this, I was pretty excited. I'm a big Tony Hawk fan. I even really kind of like the HD remake that they did on the Unreal Engine a little while ago. You can get super cheap on Steam on any of the sales. It's like $1. It wasn't great, but it was a good throwback to the original games, and it controlled pretty well. So the thought of like, oh man, new HD, like next generation Tony Hawk game was really enticing to me. And then they announced one, no PC version, obviously, and then they clearly just put as minimal effort into it. And they're charging $60 for this fucking game, which is a travesty.
It looks like
so bad.
like a $15 arcade, like Xbox arcade game.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like when you'd pick up on an Xbox Arcade or like that you would get for free on PlayStation Plus. Like that's the kind of game
Yeah.
this looks like, and they're charging you $60 for it.
Yeah, and I guess the reason I put it is because that's obviously like a series that people hold near and dear, and it's just like, well, I mean, I guess I should have known when, I saw Tony Hawk with his family doing minivan commercials. I was like, this game probably won't be that great. That should have been my.
The Tony Hawk name isn't really standing too high in your eyes.
He's like, listen, yeah, I got 6 kids. Let's do minivan commercials.
But the sad thing is, how many of us on this podcast were into that, like the Tony Hawk series when it came out? Like, of
I
course, that
liked
was a huge
them
game.
when I was a child, but I'd never ever, as an adult, have been like, I want to play Tony Hawk.
I would
I will
challenge
always
you.
Because
go-
there hasn't been a Tony Hawk game for you to get attached to as an adult.
Sure,
If there's a skateboarding game that I want to play, it's not going to be Tony Hawk ever.
it's Skate. EA, where's Skate 4?
Skate.
Please. Can we please?
I think
You are the
Tony-
hero
like,
we need.
Tony
EA.
Hawk games were sort of a product of that period of time.
Yeah, they're very
Sure.
arcadey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you had like Thrasher, you had like several different franchises all sort of around the same time when like skate culture was sort of a thing. And I feel like that's
Brandon,
not
are you
really a
implying
thing.
that skate culture is not a thing anymore, dude?
I'm saying like from video games, like I don't
That's
think
true.
I don't think it's a thing that like young kids care about.
Some
Sure.
do, but not as
Well,
many.
so
You're
it's-
right.
Some do, sure, but I mean, like it used to be a huge thing, sort of like
Yeah.
like poker, poker going on ESPN. Like for a little while there, a ton of people were into poker, and I feel like earlier on, because I think I would have been in maybe middle school or something, like skating was a big thing. Like the X Games were a big thing.
Yeah.
That was a thing that a lot of kids cared about. I don't think a lot of kids care about that anymore.
No,
Avril Lavigne released that track Skater Boy.
That
so-
was-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what helped
the hype.
with Tony Hawk's success.
that was really directly related.
That was definitely at the peak of Tony Hawk.
No,
Tony
I think
Hawk games.
Brandon makes a good point. Like I was in middle school when the Tony Hawk game started to come out, and like I was, I had skateboards on and off until I couldn't skateboard anymore. I used to skate all the time. Like, I still remember when Tony Hawk did the 900 for the first time on the X Games. Like, that was like a huge... Like, oh my god, how did he do that? That was fucking incredible.
It was so hard to see on the black and white TVs, though. Like,
yeah, it was. I mean, and you got updates in Morse code. There were no
images all like
announcers.
bent because the tube TV. It doesn't-
Yeah, and the antenna, you had the
player.
antenna in the right place to even get the X Games.
But like, if you want to think about how much of that game was an influence on gaming at the time it came out,
Sure.
look at all
Yeah,
the
no,
things
you're
that
right.
spawned off of it. Like Dave Mirra's BMX, there was Aggressive Inline on the PS2, and there was SSX that kind of sprung from that. Let's make extreme sports games. So it's really sad to see a game like Tony Hawk that spawned so many other subgenres as a result.
Well said.
Come
as
to this
Dwight
level.
said, Hex. Yes,
Like-
exactly.
It's shitty. Like, I wanted another Tony Hawk game. I would kill
be
a
good.
man for another EA skate. Like, EA, you are the hero we deserve.
I feel like they have to know. Like,
Yeah.
it's got. I have an inkling. Like, I'm gonna say within the next 2 years we'll get another skate game.
We have to get another. Like, there's still a market for those games, and it's sad that this is
There's
what
so
it's been
many
relegated
people.
to.
I feel like there's so many people that are just like begging for a skate game, but they just won't.
Yeah.
See, I don't think anybody like played the shit out of Skate, but everybody that played it was like, yeah, this is fun, and I would like to do this whenever I feel like.
Yeah, like every 3 or 4 years, give me another skate and I'll buy it.
Yeah.
It's never been anybody's primary game, but people are like, I want to be able to play something like this whenever
I mean, I put a ton of hours into Skate 3, just like fucking around.
Same. Yeah, I put a ton of time into Skate, and actually,
Barely played any of the modes. We just like go sandbox mode and just.
the first Skate, I poured hours upon hours upon hours into. Actually, when the first Skate came out, I had been like writing for a very small game site and was trying to figure out how to hook my Xbox up to my computer to record things. long ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, I put so much time into that game. I want another one. Give me a new Skate game and put it on PC. Like,
Man, I definitely don't miss Skate 1, like the perspective.
No.
Like, it was so zoomed in.
it's made nowhere near as good as Skate 3. But like, at this point, I think that a lot of EA's argument against putting a Skate game on PC would be, well, the control scheme's not going to work that well. You can plug a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller
I
into
don't
your
think
PC,
anybody
it instantly
wants to
works.
play Skate on a keyboard ever.
No, obviously it would work horribly. Like, it wouldn't
I
work
would
at
like.
all.
I think everyone would be understanding if that game came with like controller requirements.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. And like I said, it's super easy to plug in a DS4, an Xbox One, an Xbox 360 control, and just map automatically. Many games do it. So give us Skate 4 is what this comes down to.
I think even if Tony Hawk was a good game, I feel like $60 seems like a steep price tag for that experience.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm missing something, but like the Tony Hawk games of old, like, you know, at the time they were worthy of the price tag because we didn't have, you know, the huge expansive games we do now. But I feel like what is Tony Hawk doing to deserve that $60 price tag, even if the gameplay was good?
Sure. I think
Yeah.
actually they announced, or was it last week, that on last gen Black Ops 3 will be multiplayer only, like at $40, or is it $50?
It's 50. It's
50. See, that's still
so
too much.
apparently, to Activision, the Call of Duty campaign is only worth $10.
Yeah, that's like, I think Tony
Like
Hawk
they
works the
actually,
same
that's
way.
basically what they just said themselves. Is that the campaign is worth $10?
Like, Tony Hawk is that kind of game. Like, release it for $30 on, like, even retail, fine, whatever, but even digitally, $30 for, like, a Tony Hawk game that wasn't buggy and glitchy and broken, I would probably buy that. The same way that I mean, Nick, you said the same thing. If you would release COD every year for $30 and it's multiplayer only,
I
sign
would
me up.
like $40. $40? I'd
Even
go in
40,
for 40
yeah,
bucks.
okay.
Just multiplayer and the zombies. There you go. I'd give you $40 so quick.
Yeah. So it's just like they can't get past that $60 price point for every game forever, and that's just sad. So, all right, well, we're going to take another quick 2-minute break, and we'll be back with viewer questions. All right, commercials running.
You're doing great with the commercials, Hex. I like it.
Yeah,
Keep hitting them
man.
with the 2 minutes.
Hit them for 2. That way you can drop a deuce if you need to. I mean, whatever.
You know,
No,
there's
there's nothing-
one guy. There's like one guy at Robomoto who loves Tony Hawk, and like he is on the brink of suicide right now.
That poor guy.
right.
If you're listening right now, sir, please make a call. I mean, I know it's
There
a
is-
bad game,
there is
but
help.
people love you. You're okay, even if you put this shit ass game out. So don't. Just call. Get the help you need.
Yeah, I feel like if you make a really like it's such a personal thing too. I'm assuming. I don't. I'm assuming. I guess if you like your project, it's a really personal thing. So then when it comes out and people are just like, "This is the fucking." I mean, I'm sure they probably knew that they didn't have time, and Activision was like, "No, put it out. We have a deadline." But
Yeah.
I would guess if I don't know, it probably is different for each person that works on a game. But that would be pretty hard to go on and be like, "Yeah, that'd be one of the like worst games in recent
Yeah,
memory."
some of us are mildly annoyed that this game is not good. There's someone there who like loved Tony Hawk
Yeah.
so much as a kid and like had the opportunity to become part of the legacy.
To work on it, and this is what
And this is what he put out.
now they're gonna have to blot this out on their resume that they even worked on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. And
But think
Yeah.
about it from the standpoint of anything you do. Like, Scott, you stream all the time. Like, think about if you
Sure.
have a bad stream.
yeah, if I ever had a bad stream,
Yeah, if you
that's a good-
ever
that's
in
a
your
good point.
entire life had a bad stream, you would probably
No,
walk
totally.
away from that going, well, what could I have done better? Or, like, if I ever once hosted this podcast and it wasn't literally the best thing that anyone
Exactly,
viewing
yeah,
or
like
listening
where-
had ever seen or heard, I
But
would
that's
probably be
different
really
than,
upset
like,
about
that's,
that.
That's different though than everybody just being like, this is just a steaming pile of fucking garbage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
I mean,
the
I've
vitriol
literally
that you have.
never heard anything about this podcast other than this is literally the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I can't wait to listen to next week's. You are all gods among men. If something other than that came out about the podcast, I would feel a little hurt, and then I would think, well, we'll
But
kill that person and it'll be
The
fine.
better analogy would be if we do one podcast every 5 years.
Yeah, that's actually the
And,
proper
we
we
spent
analogy.
all
gone-
this time,
And
we
like
had
we
meetings.
had gone every day and talked about what this podcast is going to be about and spent, many hours of our
Literally,
lives planning
babies
this
were
podcast.
babies were born during the development of that one podcast for 5 years, and then it was just
Like
the
with
And,
worst.
each
like, given-
podcast, we're completely different people.
And we'd given previews of like, hey, here's a little snippet of what you can expect in the next 2 years. And
Some
then
people have
you could-
actually died on the project, so there's less members than the last one 5 years ago. It's
It
like,
would be as if we started KBMOD when we did, and we had like been working on this podcast project every day up until today.
And this is our first podcast.
that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's the exact reason, Brandon. Like why, like something like game development or anyone
It's got to
who
be
just walks-
brutal.
Yeah.
for like 5 years to work on something or something, and then be like, yeah. No, it's not very. It's garbage, and how quickly we are too to dismiss too. You know what I mean? Like where the game comes out and they're just like, well, forget about that piece of shit. Someone's like,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
6 years of my fucking life, dude. Like, yeah,
Well,
it's
so not
terrible.
even from the Tony Hawk standpoint. Think about it from the Arkham Knight standpoint. That game came out, it was complete garbage on PC, and now they're about to re-release it. So how many people that listen to this or that play PC games, or even among us that are like doing the podcast, who's really going to go buy that game now? Like, nope, no, I have no interest whatsoever, and I genuinely like that series of games. But
I will probably buy that game at some point.
really, for PC or for a console?
Wherever I can get it cheap.
Okay, yeah, and like maybe on a Steam sale at that point I would pick it up, but like there's no, I have no faith in that series now because you released something that was so bad. There's no way that I'm gonna give you my money at full price, and they're gonna re-release that on Steam at $60 again. Like
It's gonna be a hard sell.
that's insulting.
Yeah. I don't know. So I guess if there's somebody that works on games or has had this experience, I just want you to know that having had this discussion, I can see how that would be life altering, even if you did make it.
But also, you can probably tell from a distance when you have a fucking Tony Hawk 5. on
right,
your
yeah, when
hands.
it's
Right.
yeah, sure, to that level.
You're not being like, oh my god, people are gonna not like this piece of hot trash.
sure.
Can't believe this. Didn't see this coming.
Yeah, definitely.
People can be pretty delusional.
All right, we should be back from the break now.
Yeah,
So let's
sorry.
dive into some viewer questions now that we've shit more on fucking garbage ass games that were terrible and people are probably going to kill themselves over. Grim Angel on Twitter asks, if you had to name a sex move with a movie title, what would it be? I don't know why that I's in there, but I'm going to read them as they were submitted. So, with a movie title, you got to take a sex move and name it with a movie title. I think
There will be blood.
fuck, Jesus
That's
Christ.
dark.
That's really dark. Yeah, now saying it out loud, that is. Yeah, but yeah.
The Italian Job.
Oh shit! What else would be good?
Die Hard is mine.
So that
Die Hard. I want to die having sex
Okay.
with an erection. That is mine.
That's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I like that.
And then Die Hard 2 is my sequel the second time.
Toy Story.
I just call it Big Cock 5. You said any movie name, so I'm gonna call it Big Cock 5
Any movie?
because my penis is big. You see what I did there?
I see it. I get it. I like Brandon's
And
answer.
by
Can
big,
you-
it's actually not.
I mean, in one way it's big, but not in the other way.
It's just girthy. It's real girthy.
Girth is a measurement of largeness.
It's true. Brandon, can you say yours one more time?
You
'Cause I'm
elaborate
afraid
on
it
Toy
maybe,
Story,
maybe
Brandon?
got
I love it.
overlooked.
Oh, I can't actually.
Toy Story is maybe the best answer.
Toy Story is really good. God damn it.
I'm seeing some from chat now. Freddy Got Fingered is it's a good one.
Well, that movie is something else. The movie
why-
feels
that-
like drugs.
Yeah, that movie's so
I don't
weird.
think that's a good answer because like there's no mystery there.
Yeah,
You're
it's
already
not
telling
wrong.
us what the move is.
Yeah. Oh.
Interstellar. That's a good one. The Iron Giant. I like that one as well. The
Ooh.
Iron Giant is a solid one.
What needs to happen with all these moves is someone needs to go and put it on the internet and write what the actual move is, though. Like,
Yeah.
Test this out a little bit.
I like The Dark Knight Rises as well. That one's and Black Dynamite. That's solid.
The Dark Knight Rises, I'm assuming, is Anion's answer. Who said that?
Wow,
Yeah, there's
wow,
that.
dude.
Oh, okay.
That's
Can't say that.
we have to edit. Scott, I'm gonna need you to edit that out of the audio.
All right,
version,
that's fine.
please.
It'll be gone. Don't worry.
Oh, Dora the Explorer. That's
That's not a movie.
That wasn't a movie,
It's not a
first
fucking
off.
movie. The Lost World.
oh, the Lost World.
It hasn't been touched for
No
65
Country for
million
Old
years.
Men is pretty good because I'm definitely not messing with any old men. At least at this point.
I like Enter the Dragon. I like that
What's
one.
wrong with a little bit of Lemon Party every once in a while?
No, I like this one. 12 Angry Men. 12
Yeah.
Angry Men is great. What a good
Yeah,
answer.
that's a good one.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, God.
yeah.
Don't do it.
Well,
Man,
okay.
for some reason the other day I was watching like the musical bits from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on YouTube, like the original one. And that shit that shit fucking jams, dude.
Yeah.
Bump that shit.
Yeah, bump it. I can't wait for the EDM remix of that soundtrack.
There are.
Really?
there are-
I'm gonna need you to send me several links after this podcast is over.
Actually, don't know them offhand. I've heard them though.
All right. Let's end that question now.
Getting
And
closer and closer to that one question.
it's
I don't like it.
that's gonna be the rest of the podcast. Yeah, we'll get there. Anders has asked, what has been one of your proudest purchases? First high-end graphics card, a GTO SpinTech catback. I don't know what that second thing is, but
You know
that
what
a
that
fake?
thing is.
do I?
We all know what the GTO SpinTech backpack means.
If it's a
Show us
fucking
that
fake-
muff, Brandon. I mean, sorry, the muffler. Show us that big muffler, Brandon.
Oh,
Okay, now I understand.
it's a car.
So, Scott, let's start with you.
Jesus
What's
Christ.
your proudest purchase?
I've been over this before. After working a whole summer at 12 years old on a watermelon farm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I saved up my minimum wage $300 fucking dollars. I probably got paid less than that because it was off the books. I bought a Trek 800 mountain bike, 18 speed with fucking shifter, like grip shifters.
Damn.
Fuck, it was beautiful. It was red, and then it got stolen, and then I lost it about 2 weeks later. It got stolen because I didn't lock it up. So it went from one of my most proudest moments to one of my most sad. But that was like, because that was like the first time I ever worked really hard, and then
And then
bought
had
something like that, and then
Was it also
then
the
it was
last
gone.
time?
That was the last time too. That's basically what taught me that hard work is bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
see,
I was
I
like,
think-
I worked so hard, and then it was
My
gone.
fucking bike.
That's a great learning experience. Like, no matter how hard you work, someone will take this shit away
Yeah,
from you. So
Exactly. Life
to
is
learn it
pain.
that early is great.
Yeah.
Nick, what about
Good
you?
to learn
What's
that life isn't
Skip
for
me. I'm
everybody.
still thinking. I can't
all right,
think of it.
Brandon? What about you?
I was apparently already answered.
Is it that GTO
In the
SpinTech
question.
catback?
Yeah.
Is that where it's at?
I mean, I guess that's certainly my claim to fame.
How much was that little bad boy when you bought it? Did you
What,
do
the-
upgrades on it yourself, or?
Yeah, well, the catback just means the exhaust, which I don't know. I don't remember how much that was.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, it wasn't cheap, but I really enjoyed the car. It's modding a car is like one of the worst purchases you can make, but it's so satisfying. Like if you enjoy it, it's worth it. But when you actually think about it, like, it does nothing for your resale value. It
Yeah.
costs a lot. Like, especially nice car parts cost a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, not a great purchase, but I guess proudest purchase is a weird thing because I'm not proud of a whole lot of things that I've purchased. I've made like good purchases,
That
things
sounds
that I
so
thought were.
sad when you say it like that. I'm not proud of a lot of things that I've purchased.
I'll just mean like, I've bought PCs and stuff. Like, I'm not necessarily proud of them. I'm happy with the purchase.
Right, sure.
But proud is a weird way to describe, things that you buy.
Yeah, but it makes you think about that one purchase that, like, man, I would show that off to other people. Like,
Yeah, well, I guess in that case, the stuff with my car actually does fit pretty well.
Whatever ended up happening with that vehicle?
A friend of mine owns it now.
Oh, okay, you sold it. Got it.
Yeah.
what about you, John? What's your proudest purchase?
Probably my first car. I mean, I bought it the day I turned 16, so that was a pretty good feeling to have been financially responsible enough as a kid to save up enough money to buy a car.
What was your first car?
It was like a 98 Grand Am or something.
Okay. I would say mine is also my first car. I spent $1,950 on a 1996 Pontiac Grand Prix LE that had 98,000 miles on it and a rusted out gas tank. But goddamn if I didn't love the shit out of that car.
How long did you drive it?
I drove that for 2 years, and then I only switched it out. I bought a Jimmy after that, and the only reason I did it is because Ginny and I needed a car to go to the first Bonnaroo that we had ever gone to, and we needed something with enough storage space to haul all of our camping gear, so I traded in for that. But man, that car sounded like shit. Like, I lived in a little tiny small town when I was a kid that was about 8 streets and 9 bars. That you could hear my car coming from one end of town to the next. It sounded like shit. It was an awful car, but I was so proud to have a vehicle that was just mine. Like, I could get in it any time, go wherever I wanted. That was pretty fucking great.
Nice, yeah. My first car, I paid $300 for, and then returned it after I brought it to. My parents were like, "Bring it." It was a Ford. Oh fuck, I don't even remember. I want to say it was a Ford, like, Taurus. I don't know what year it was, but it was really shitty. I got it as a recommendation from one of the people at church that my parents knew.
Nice.
And I brought it to my dad. Was just like, just get it checked out. Like, this mechanic will look at it, and he won't charge anything. I'll just be like, is it safe to drive? And I think I've said this before, but he took one look at it and was like, I would not let anybody I love drive that vehicle. So I literally just gave it back and to them, and I was like, guys, it was really awkward too, because it's like, to return a car that you bought for $300 does sound a little cheap, but
Yeah.
they were pretty cool about it. They were like, okay, they're like, yeah, if that's what the mechanic said, we don't want you to die and be liable for it. So yeah, here's your money back.
I actually just I was getting gas on the way to the store the other day, and I was coming out of the convenience store because I grabbed water, and somebody pulled in to the gas station in my first car. Like, not my exact first car, but the same year, make, model, color, everything. And I looked at him and I was like, is that a 96 Pontiac Grand Prix? And he went, fuck yeah, it is. Still runs fucking great, bro. And just walked to the gas station. I was like, oh.
That's about what I would expect a guy that owns a 96 Grand Prix to sound like.
Wow.
All right, Brandon, you want to read this next question?
Wait, my answer to the question
Oh,
is
yeah.
the collector's edition of The Taken King.
Obviously. I mean, who couldn't be proud with such a...
I spent
smart
$20
purchase.
for extra emotes.
All right, Brandon, you want to read this next question? I want you to read this one just because of how it's spelled.
I guess I can give it a try.
Give it a run.
From Amnesia Hayes via email, he writes, "Hello, KBMODers. Get the dust off your scarfs. It's time for a fall. Who else is ready for fall leaves blowing into their pockets, footballs being kicked into their hair, eating good pumpkins, and drinking glass after glass of that nice warm fall water?"
What?
With
Water. I've never.
I'm sorry. Maybe. I'm not sure if I got the right inflection in my voice.
I
And
think you got
drinking
it.
glass after glass of that nice warm fall water?
There, yeah, 2 question marks. That's the
question
inflection you need.
My question is, space, comma, what is your favorite fall treat and or food? This podcast is nice, comma, Amnesia Hayes.
I have a feeling Amnesia Hayes, which is spelled Hayes, had a little bit of amnesia haze before he wrote this question up.
Jeez.
But fall treat or food, I mean, that's a valid inquiry. Scott,
Turkey.
Pumpkin pie is always great.
pumpkin pie? Okay.
So hold on. There's actually 2 questions here. He has asked us if we are ready.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
well,
for
yeah.
various
I'm ready.
things.
I'm locked in. I'm
I
ready.
don't know that I'm ready for nice, warm fall water. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Either.
I mean, doesn't everybody pour themselves a big glass of warm water?
That's how you ring the fall in. It's just lukewarm
Not
tap
hot,
water.
not hot, just warm.
Just room temperature water in your mug every day.
A tad bit of warmth there.
I'm not sure I'm ready for footballs being kicked into my hair. Like, that's gonna hit me right in the throat, honestly, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, that's the only area that you have the hair on your face.
It's either that or pubes. Like, either one. I'm not big on either one of those.
I'm surprised that you have enough pubes down there to catch a football, but
Well, Nick, that's a different podcast that we do every other week, so let's not talk
is it?
about.
I didn't know what is this second.
You're our
podcast?
guest next week on the KBMOD Pubecast, so lock in.
Oh, sick. I have a airstrip.
Okay, let's save it for next week, just so we don't want to give anybody a sneak preview too quick.
God.
But favorite fall treat or food, Scott? What do you think?
Fall treats? I mean, I don't know. Give me some options. I can't think of anything.
like,
Fuck.
what do
Oh,
you
okay,
like to
no.
eat in the fall, dipshit? Like,
I know we're in fall. I guess what do
I don't know. Pumpkin pie, cookies.
Yeah, that's
pumpkin spice lattes. Like,
no. Yeah,
unleash your inner white girl, Scott. Like, let it happen. Let it flow.
I like apple cider, but is that
Yeah,
limited
no,
to
that
fall?
counts.
counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, apple cider. I like. I'll take
Apple
that.
cider is great in winter, but I think it becomes acceptable around fall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would say apple cider. I like apple cider. We've done like a Halloween punch a couple times. That's mostly apple cider, and then you add like soda water and like a dark rum to it. And that's always really nice. I like that. Anybody like Nick? What would you say yours is?
I said a bunch, man.
A bunch.
Ass,
I mean,
Eggnog.
ass.
what's a little early for eggnog? I think, John.
Yeah, eggnog is
John,
not fall.
don't
I
be
think
one of those
eggnog
people.
is squarely winter.
Yeah.
I drink pumpkin eggnog.
Oh, I didn't know that was a
Really
thing.
good,
Okay.
actually.
I usually, as soon
Changing
as
the meta.
the 4th of July comes around, I pull up a nice frosty glass of eggnog.
Celebrate
Warm
America the
fall
way that
water
the
with
founding
some
fathers
cold
wanted.
eggnog.
Yeah,
What about you, Brandon? What do you think yours is?
I don't really love pumpkin stuff,
Me
and pumpkin
either.
I feel like is the default sort of like fall item. That's hard to say.
I think
Like
I heard John say turkey right off the bat, which
I do love me some turkey.
Yeah, good turkey
Yeah,
dinner. I like
That's
that.
the thing. I basically, my brain just goes to thinking about Thanksgiving when I think about fall treats, and so like cobblers, like pies, things like that are good. But I mean, I do like a good cider,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
nice
I feel
apple
like
cider.
pumpkin though is generally pretty much limited to sweet stuff, right? You don't have very many savory pumpkin dishes. It's all like
Yeah, you can make like pumpkin bread though. Like pumpkin bread's pretty savory.
pumpkin bread is good.
Well,
yeah,
actually, that's a good call. I do like pumpkin bread, and that's very much a fall thing.
Yeah, that's very very fall.
For the 3 months of fall, I exclusively eat cans of jellied cranberry sauce.
oh God,
This explains
As
so
soon
much
as they
about you.
stock
your
it in the
bathroom
grocery
must be
store.
a fucking
Yeah.
battlefield. Good God.
Your toilet is destroyed
I could love
every
to see
December.
Nick Clinton's bathroom after 3 months of eating. Only.
You know the part in The Shining with the elevator and all the blood comes out? The general.
By November,
Fall-
the second
fall
week of
starts to
November.
roll around, and you're on a first name basis with the grocery store manager. Like, when's that shipment coming in?
When those crans dropping.
Oh my God.
John, you sticking with just turkey or anything else?
I'm gonna
besides
go
that?
with turkey. You can't really go wrong with turkey. Leftover turkey though. I also like dark meat.
Oh man, we made turkey pot pie after Thanksgiving last year. That was way better than our actual Thanksgiving meal. Like the turkey leftovers are a solid call.
That's how I feel too. Yeah, with turkey, like all the stuff you can do with it afterwards.
Yeah.
To me, tends to be because
Plus,
that,
just like a
there's-
cold turkey sandwich. It's like
Yeah.
fucking-
Yeah,
so
with
good.
some
just
mustard
prefer
on it or
ham.
something.
little mustard, little
All about
cheese.
ham.
Just you want to roll up a ham? Wait, what?
I'm just all about ham over turkey. Because my family during holidays, especially even on Thanksgiving,
Do you do both?
They do a turkey and a ham.
Okay. Yeah, ham
And I
is
like
just
go
Christmas
ham.
for us.
I just like ham more.
So, all right, we could. This question, I'm sure, is going to go on for a little while, but
Oh God, we're doing it.
Oh, maybe who knows? Maybe we'll just have immediate consensus.
that's true.
Yeah,
it could
it's
go
true.
either way. At KevinXTSSF on Twitter asks, is cereal soup? And I'm glad that someone put this in here over, is a taco a sandwich, that someone else asked, because fuck no, it's
No,
not.
cereal is not soup.
No, it's not.
I'm going to go with yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm going with yes.
Why?
It has
Defend your argument.
It has more than one ingredient, and it's a liquid ingredient with another ingredient that isn't a liquid.
Yeah, but it's...
So you think that oatmeal is soup?
Yeah, it's
because I
oatmeal.
consider it a meal, a meal type, because it's a
oatmeal
meal.
is
of
not-
oats.
A soup
oatmeal's not,
could be a
like-
meal.
Actually, I don't know. This
Oh,
gets
here we
gray.
go. This is what happens.
This is how it
No,
starts.
because I'm thinking about like, would you call chili soup? Because chili often doesn't.
I think
doesn't-
No,
chili-
chili is a type
no.
of porridge. It's a porridge.
No.
See, I think chili lands more towards
No.
oatmeal. I think I agree with John there. Chili is not like a
chili
soup.
isn't a soup. It's more of a, like, I would probably put it closer to like a stew. It's like
Yeah, well, is a stew a
Stew
soup
is-
then? Like,
stew
is it
has
its own
I think
category?
a stew is like a version of
Yeah.
soup. It's like a
Stew
it's like
is a
a
subset
thicker
of soups.
It's a
Okay.
thicker soup.
But so is cereal a soup though?
Yeah, I think it is.
Really?
I'm look. What's the definition of soup?
All right. Well, Google.
I literally just typed into Google, is cereal a soup? And this is their I don't know if you guys will get the same hit, but you know how they just answer questions
It's a
according to
liquid
an article?
dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, vegetables, or
Yeah.
etc. in a stock of water.
No.
So then,
Soup
by definition,
requires
it's not.
stock. That's what it is. Soup requires a
Yeah,
stock.
that's
Milk
actually-
is not
that's-
stock.
That's
No,
a
it
good
doesn't.
point.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah,
every,
definitely.
every soup requires a stock.
Yep.
Every
Yeah,
one of
that's
them.
actually a good point.
You're
I
putting
think- I
bouillon
think
cubes
open
in
and shut
water, and
case.
you're making a stock. You're boiling bones in water to make your broth instead of using bouillon cubes. That's a stock.
Right. Yeah. So unless you're making Cap'n Crunch stock somewhere before you pour
I mean,
that
if
milk
you if
over.
you put cereal in the milk and then drained the cereal and then used that cereal filled milk to pour on top of another cereal, you've made cereal stock for something else. Then
That's
it's a
true.
soup.
So then
Maybe your second bowl of cereal could be classified as a soup if you're not drinking the milk after
so
the
when
first bowl.
when you've got extra milk left over and you're like, well, I could go for a little more cereal. You throw that in there. But
Yeah,
what happens at that
then
point
it's-
if you
then it's
add
a
more
soup,
milk?
Because
I don't
that's
think-
a cereal stock.
I think you can make soup without stocks, though.
No, this
I
clearly
think you
No,
can.
you absolutely no. What? So what would your base be? Just water and chicken? Like that sounds disgusting.
No, you can make other ingredients.
But
You
then
can do-
it's
you
still
can-
you're gonna put a liquid in there at some point. So even if you put like all your vegetables and chicken and noodles or whatever, like what? So then there's just water. Like that sounds like the worst soup of all time, Nick. Never make me soup, please.
Okay, I won't.
Yeah, I think if it's the stock argument, then
Yeah.
don't think-
cereal can't be.
It's stock.
So how? Well, I'm genuinely curious. If you're not going to use stock, how would you make soup, Nick? Tell me. Elaborate on your soup.
It would be more of a stew. There wouldn't. You would just make something like a really thick broth or something.
Well, but even then, if
Broth-
like let's say you
broth
make like
is-
an Irish
stock.
stew.
Is
Broth is
stock.
stock.
Not with stock. We would mix it with other stuff. I
But
don't know.
if you made an Irish stew,
If you mix a liquid with something else, you're creating a stock.
pretty much, yeah.
That's what a stock is. It's a bunch of ingredients
I
boiled
think
and
your
heated in
normal,
this liquid.
your normal bowl of cereal where you just put cereal in a bowl and then pour milk over it, I don't think that classifies as soup.
No.
However, you could get more advanced with your cereal and potentially turn it into a soup. I'm just not sure what, like, there would be no payoff for doing so.
Yeah, well, so wait, what if you did this? What if you took like, let's say you're rolling out your Cap'n Crunch, right? You got your Cap'n in the bowl, you add some milk, you let it soak, but then you think, no, Fruity Pebbles today. So you take the milk out of the Cap'n Crunch through a strainer. So now you've got a Cap'n
that-
Crunch stock at this point.
That is a soup.
That is
You're
a stock.
making a Cap'n
Now you're
Crunch
making a
stock.
stock.
and now you add
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles. That now
that
constitutes a
could be
soup. You're making a milk Cap'n Crunch stock with a Fruity
I
Pebbles.
agree
I
with
feel
that.
like when we have to push the like examples that far, the basic answer is no, it's not soup.
Yeah.
Because like the hot dog sandwich debate, like that had very clear examples where there was like some flawed logic. I don't think we have really any flawed logic here. I don't think cereal is soup.
No, I mean, I don't think so either. But I mean, I'm a little curious now about T Joyce 879. Is a taco a sandwich? Like, let's explore this as well. Why not?
Oh God.
I mean,
I'm not-
it's,
No,
It's-
didn't we
No.
discover that it requires two pieces of
A taco
bread?
does not have bread. A sandwich's
no bread.
definition is between bread.
all right then. It's also
Yeah, we'll
not a
just kill that
sandwich.
real quick.
That's easy
Nice.
then. All right, so cereal's not a soup. We've decided. So it is written. So shall it be done. All right, so we've got one last thing, little housekeeping. If you don't already, make sure that you go to iTunes, where you should be downloading your podcast from. Rate us 5 stars, and then we'll give you our...
This is Brandon's segment. What are you doing?
I'm leading him into it, buddy, instead of just saying, okay, Brandon,